WNBA Finals presented by Adidas. They were lining up early to get inside Conseco Fieldhouse for this one. A sellout crowd on hand, 18,165. They're even selling standing room only seats here. Welcome everybody. Terry Gannon along with the former WNBA coach and general manager Carolyn Peck. All right, so game two. The Fever steal the momentum. They steal the home court advantage. Here they come. They were greeted at the airport by hundreds. This town's crazy about game three. How does Phoenix respond now?
Well, the thing that Phoenix has to do is they have to get Cappie Pondexter involved early. Corey Gaines took the blame for that and said he called plays for her in the second half, but he's going to have to do that early. That'll take a bit of the pressure off Diana Taurasi.
Do you buy that, or do you think Cappie Pondexter's just going to take it upon herself to produce early?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think a lot of concentration was on finding ways for Diana Taurasi to score against Catchings. Now you can do that, but add Cappie Pondexter to it.
Heather Cox, Rebecca Lobo also with us for game three. Best of 5. Game 4 will be right here in Indianapolis, and if necessary, we go to Phoenix for game 5 on Friday night. June Courteau, Clark Stevens, and Eric Bruton, the officiating crew, working game 3. And we are underway. Ebony Hoffman, who has had a terrific series so far, controls, gives it off. Here's Tully Bevilacqua. Phoenix opening up in a man-to-man. Catchings going right to work as they swing it around. Off balance, Bevilacqua gets the roll on the opening possession of the game. Great home court advantage for Indiana this year. They're 17-3, the best in the league.
Well, and they credit this crowd as their sixth man. As the game gets tighter and closer to the end, they get louder and louder.
Pondexter back to the Willingham, who's got to get more active and more involved offensively. Just 3 points in game 1, 4 in game 2, and she starts off with a bucket here.
I think it's going to be a battle in the paint. Indiana has got to establish inside, and that's one of the things that Phoenix didn't do. They relied a lot on the outside shot.
Foul called on Nicole Willingham, her first, and Tammy Sutton-Brown will go to the free throw line. Corey Gaines.
She spaced her with her forearm, knocked her off balance with her forearm. So if she keeps it on there, is that right? Hey, Cole, keep it on there. Don't go back.
All right, so Corey, who is wired for sound tonight, as is Lynn Dunn on the other bench, figuring out that Nicole Willingham can use the forearm throughout the evening.
She can use that forearm, but she can't extend it. It has to stay stationary, otherwise they'll call her for pushing off.
See the numbers for Tammy Sutton-Brown, 19 and 14, but the big change in game 2 for her, big part of the defense that held Phoenix to 84 points.
Well, so much of Phoenix offense is geared on the on-ball screen, and Tammy Sutton-Brown was too deep in the paint, not in position to help on Taurasi or Pondexter.
First turnover for Phoenix as it goes through the hands of Willingham. And it's Indiana basketball. It helped Phoenix to under 40% from the floor. And look at that three-point shooting. Got to figure Phoenix, Corey Gaines, they have to make some shots beyond the arc to win this series. Hoffman. In, out, back in again, and that's a 3 for Ebony Hoffman, who is just still red hot.
She is hot. She's been an offensive threat throughout this whole series and really opening up things inside with her ability to shoot the outside shot.
Inside, outside, Tangela Smith, the best three-point shooter percentage-wise in the league with the miss. Willingham had it taken away by Tamika Catchings. Katie Douglas. How did she find Tammy Sutton-Brown with that look? The Fever coming out, pressing the issue, running a little bit in this one.
The Indiana Fever feel like really they're a West Coast team, which normally the style is running in transition, high scoring. And they also add to that great defense. So they're a combination of East and West.
Out of bounds, Fever basketball.
But Indiana showing their versatility. First, the ability to shoot the 3. Ebony Hoffman, where have you been? And then in transition, Katie Douglas does a nice job finding Tammy Sutton-Brown straight down the middle of the lane. She was not even the post involved in the on-ball screen.
Ebony Hoffman averaged less than 10 points a game this year. She had 27 in game 1, 16 in game 2. Taurasi high into the air for the rebound. Here's Pondexter on the run. Cappie had it knocked away by Catchings. And he'll be out of bounds to Phoenix.
But you notice as soon as Diana Taurasi got the rebound, who she was looking for. They're trying to get the ball and get Cappie Pondexter involved early.
Taurasi, a tough shot off the out of bounds. That's the thing. You're guarded by catchings. You can get frustrated easily. Bevilacqua with a miss. Here comes the Mercury. And the foul on Katie Douglas, the hometown girl who grew up just down the road here, south side of Indianapolis, and who played at Purdue for Miss Carolyn Peck. Lynn Dunn in her second year as the head coach.
Had the privilege of coaching Katie at Purdue for 2 seasons. And yeah, in '99, we won the national championship. Tough player.
Johnson made Hoffman make a decision. She took Smith. Johnson took the hoop. So it's a 4-point lead. Still some empty seats here because of the Colts game next door, just finishing up with the Seahawks. Catchings, the crossover, Phoenix going to look to run every chance they get. Smith over Sutton Brown. Willingham, the strength inside. Hoffman with the block. Tamika Catchings in the open court. There's the foul on Diana Taurasi. That's one thing they would love to do, is get Taurasi in foul trouble. Second team foul.
Putting our ass off down there.
And just as Lynn Dunn asks a lot of Tamika Catchings, offensively and defensively, so too Corey Gaines with Diana Taurasi.
Well, and Taurasi has got the responsibility of guarding Tamika Catchings and Katie Douglas, because at times she gets switched off. So Lynn Dunn feels like that takes a little bit out of Taurasi and kind of affected her shooting in Game 1 and Game 2.
Catchings an 87% free throw shooter. We'll keep an eye on the free throws too. You mentioned it. Now, big difference Game 1 to Game 2. Phoenix had the advantage in Game 1. Indiana in Game 2. But also Lynn Dunn says that's how we slow down Phoenix. Taurasi leaves it up there. And the foul on Tammy Sutton Brown, her first. Plus 19 for Phoenix in Game 1. Plus 5 from the line for Indiana in Game 2.
It'll be interesting to watch how Indiana guards Phoenix. They are such a good three-point shooting team. Lynn Dunn said you can get the three off the dribble, but not the catch and shoot.
So force them to put the ball on the floor, not move the ball and get the stand-up jumper.
Right, because that's when they're at their best, and they, especially shooters like Diana Taurasi, just continue to get in a rhythm if they can catch and shoot.
Taurasi 1 for 2 at the free throw line. She's an 89% free throw shooter and has had her troubles here in the finals, shooting just 31% from the floor. Smith took it right away. Good read. Johnson tipped away by Catchings.
Cut her path off and stop.
You watch how Tamika Johnson is backing off Telly Bevilacqua and able to get a deflection.
Angela Smith, the early fire. Cleared easily by Catchings. Good roll. Sutton Brown to the left hand and can't buy it. Phoenix not getting great looks right now. They're taking the quick shot, but Smith with the force. There's a turnover. Taurasi forces one. Douglas one-on-one with Cappie Pondexter.
Mismatch inside.
Bevilacqua, who had a couple of threes in Game 1, did not score in Game 2. Douglas had it blocked out of bounds. They're going to say Phoenix basketball. They may talk about this, though. Yeah, they reversed it. June Corto says, no, it's here at the Indiana end.
Well, I thought Katie Douglas got a lot of contact on that offensive, on the offensive putback, and then to call the ball to Phoenix, that would have been a huge mistake.
Douglas around the screen. Tipped out. It'll stay here with the Fever. Katie Douglas had 30 points in Game 1 and that big three to send it to overtime.
Jessica Moore. We got a foul for pushing the back.
Fifth-year player out of UConn comes off the bench for Indiana. And the Fever has gone cold. They missed their last 7 after hitting their first 3. Douglas changes that, though, with the three-pointer.
Well, as soon as you talk about being cold, Katie Douglas said, not yet. The fever's heating up.
The double on Taurasi.
She's not getting any kind of look. Every time she touches the basketball, 2 or 3 players are around her.
It'll be a foul on Tangela Smith.
Katie Douglas is not shy on the basketball court. She may have missed a couple of shots, but she still believes that next shot is going in, and that 3 definitely is.
You coached her at Purdue, as I said, and she grew up right here in Indianapolis. And you know, it does sound like the typical perfect Indiana story. Growing up, playing against her older brothers out in the driveway where the hoop was. The hoop in every driveway, isn't there, here in Indiana?
And she said that her brothers would tell other guys not to hit her so hard, and she said, why, you do. Let them do it.
Catchings left all alone. That's a 3. All 3 games have seen the Fever stretch out to a double-digit lead early on. Pondexter, though, strong to the hoop.
See, Cappy Pondexter doesn't need to wait for plays to be called to her. She can create offense at will anytime she wants.
Douglas, they're going to call the moving screen on Ebony Hoffman. Second team foul on the Fever, and the first on Hoffman. We got a break with 4.5 minutes left here in the first. Indiana stretching out in front of a capacity crowd here in Game 3.
9,000 tickets to give away to fans in the Eastern Conference Finals. And we were talking a couple minutes ago. You said there's something special about this WNBA Finals. The fans here obviously feel it. Why do you think Indianapolis has embraced this team?
Well, because of their hard work, not only on the court, but off the court. A lot of these girls spend time out in our community, and they do a great job of supporting our kids around the city of Indianapolis, and we're here today to support them.
The playoffs are the time of year that competitors live for. What separates the Stars from everyone else this time of year?
Well, you know, this is a big game. It's the finals, and they keep talking about wearing down the opponents, but you can't do that in the finals. They're ready to play, and you'll see a great game today. Both teams are very good.
The WNBA can sometimes be an easy mark for people looking for something to make fun of in sports. What do you like about the way the women play the game?
They're as good as anyone in the world. They're the best talent in the world. They come to play every night. They're very well coached. They work hard in practice, and they fit in their communities.
All right, Larry, thank you very much. Terry, got to listen to the man.
Always. Are you kidding me? Man, one of the greatest players ever. Love to watch that guy play. Now, president here, and he did buy those upper deck seats, but today all direct fan sales and a sellout crowd. Nicole Oldie with the bucket from Pondexter. Cappy scored on the last trip down, so it's a 4-point game.
And even though Indiana's trying to double team Cappy, if she doesn't have the shot, then she's creating and finding, but she's involved in the offense, not just pass and go away.
Back to the zone now for Phoenix, forcing that outside jumper, but the starters have been pretty good so far. 3 of 4 from beyond the arc for Indiana. They were just 1 of 10 in Game 2. Crowd wanted double dribble, no call. Taurasi off the mark again. And the foul is going to go against Nicole Oldie. That's her first. Penny Taylor set to check in. Big part of this offense. In fact, you look at what they have done throughout the playoffs with Penny Taylor. It's entirely different without her on the floor. This was the injury in Game 2.
And it was very early in the third quarter. And you see, she immediately, once she recognizes that she's got that injury to her mouth, she leaves the court. And it took almost 25 minutes to stop the bleeding.
Look at this in the playoffs. Plus 44 with her on the floor, minus 6 without her. Foul's going to go against Nicole Willingham, and that's her second. Heather, do you have more on Penny Taylor?
Indeed, a team dentist after the game put the loose front tooth back in place and then set it with a wire brace. She'll wear it for at least a week. They don't want her to wear it long term, but they need to wait till the swelling goes down. Now, luckily, the dentist that treated her specializes in hockey injuries and said she was extremely lucky she didn't suffer any fractures, saying usually anytime a tooth loosens, you're highly likely that a fracture is involved. If it were, she wouldn't be able to play. The fact that there's no fracture, she's just wearing a mouthpiece, and she's assured me she's 100% today, Terry.
Tough. Got the broken finger, had the ankle surgery and injury to start the season.
And how fortunate was she that the team dentist was at at the game, able to immediately set that tooth.
Ketzings with the free throws. 5 fouls already on Phoenix, so they're over the limit. Just 2 called on the Fever so far. Cross court, they swing it to Johnson, back to Oldie. Big presence inside. Nicole Oldie with the drive along the baseline. They bring her on the floor to post a bigger lineup. Penny Taylor also gives them a little size. Inside out, Douglas spots up over Johnson, little short. Moore runs it down to the corner.
Watch how the Phoenix Mercury are trying to jam the paint and force the outside shot. That's a good move by Ebony Hoffman.
Straight down the lane. Hoffman aggressive again in this one. Taken right back. Breon January, the rookie from Arizona State, gives it up to Katie Douglas. No foul call. And in game 2, Lynn Dunn went to her bench much more than in game 1. But you don't take out Ebony Hoffman right now. Leave her out on the floor. My gosh. That's a 3.
But you got to remember that in 08, Ebony Hoffman was most improved player. She has just continued to improve and improve her game.
8 in the game for her underneath Tawana Bonner, who was the 6th woman of the year in the WNBA this year. The rookie from Auburn. Bonner just threw Moore right off the lane.
Now Phoenix has gone to their rover defense with Taurasi now down low, mixing it up with the big girls in the paint.
January the miss. She had a big game in game 2, a couple of big threes, but it'll be Phoenix ball.
Hey, Hoffman is stroking it from the three-point line. She's hot from there. That's become an integral part of the Indiana Fever offense.
Well, and if you're Phoenix, you come into the series planning a certain way of playing them defensively. She wasn't part of that mix, not to this extent.
No, you concentrate more on Katie Douglas and Tamika Catchings, not having to defend Ebony Hoffman, and especially not from the three-point line.
Oldie aggressive at the offensive end. So we're seeing a couple of players try to bring it a little earlier. Nicole Olding, Nicole Willingham early in this quarter. We're under a minute now. Nice slip. Good pass from Douglas. And Jessica Moore, the 5th-year player, who's from Alaska originally, with the bucket.
Well, both teams are double-teaming the superstars. Katie Douglas that time got double-teamed and recognized Jessica Moore was open.
Taurasi got bumped. She's looking for a call, doesn't get it. And Diana has got 1 point in the game. She's 0 for 3 from the floor.
Look, she went hard to the hole. That's the same thing Catching does every time.
Taurasi has yet to get a field goal in this game. Hoffman lost it on the baseline. It goes back to the Phoenix Mercury. You watch Diana Taurasi all year long, throughout her career, really. She's led the league in scoring 3 times. They have taken her completely out of her game.
You know, the LA Sparks were able to do that too, putting a bigger person on her. Delisha Milton defended Diana Taurasi in the LA series, and then now she's looking at Tamika Catchings. That's 6'1", 6'2", guarding on the perimeter. Nothing easy.
Catchings guarding Taylor around the screen. They're going to call the offensive foul on Tawana Bonner. So the number 5 pick overall in the draft with the foul, her first.
Get up a little bit. Get up a little bit. Get up a little bit.
But Terry, you look at the Phoenix Mercury have only scored 17 points in this first quarter. You got to compliment the defense of the Indiana Fever.
They control the opening quarter here.
Welcome back to Game 3 of the WNBA Finals, joined by Phoenix head coach Corey Gaines. And Coach, before the game, you assured me you would get Cappie Pondexter more involved early. How satisfied are you with that effort?
Well, she's getting the ball in her hands in the right situations, and she's going hard to the hole. That's all I can ask for. If she gets a foul or something else, that's out of my control.
Everybody says at some point Ebony Hoffman will cool down in this series. So far, it hasn't happened. How do you need to defend her?
Well, we're trying to make sure we stop the penetration, and she's getting those kickouts. Little second shot chance points they're getting is killing us. We'll stop it.
Coach, thanks so much.
Other thanks, 8 points in the game for Ebony Hoffman and 2 of 3 beyond the arc. Cappie Pondexter started aggressively, but 2 of 3 and 4 points. The big question mark is Diana Taurasi, 0 for 3 in that first quarter. And only 17 points for the Phoenix Mercury, a team that averaged 93 points a game during the regular season.
One of the things that Diana has been able to do during the regular season, especially nail the three in transition, she has been shadowed every second she's been on the court today.
Smith over Hoffman, can't buy it. Taylor to the offensive glass, had it blocked. Catchings comes down with it. Here comes Douglas. Diana Taurasi getting her fingers retaped on the sideline right now, so she's out. Keisha Soignier in, along with Penny Taylor, Cappy Pondexter, Duana Bonner, and Smith. Right down the lane, though, nobody helps out. Quick move by Breon January, the rookie.
Both these teams like to use the on-ball screen action.
Pondexter set up by Penny Taylor. Foot was on the line. Now they call it a 3 now, so it's a 6-point game. Catchings. Taking Taylor.
She had her and gave it up too soon.
She did, didn't she? And they call Penny Taylor for the bump, so that's her first foul.
Well, once Penny Taylor curls and the defense sinks inside, that leaves things wide open. You can't help off Cappy Pondexter because you let her get hot and in a rhythm. She puts Phoenix right back into this ball game.
And they did end up giving her a 3, so it's a 6-point lead for Indiana. January guarded by Soignier. Around the pick. Big time jumper, and Angela Smith came out to challenge her, and she knocked it right down.
Breon January's had to play more of the one. In game 2, Tully Bevilacqua didn't score baskets. You've got to have an offensive threat at the point guard position.
You're getting more and more playing time, too. Soignier. Bonner out of bounds to the Fever. You know, I know Corey Gaines isn't happy with the way this game has been officiated right now. He alluded to that a little bit. We saw him on the sideline. They're letting him play a little bit. I mean, we saw Diana Taurasi get bumped in the lane. There's a bump there. Douglas got bumped a couple of times going hard to the hole.
Well, in game 1, there were 57 free throw shots. And difference from 1 and 2, only 37. So the officials are like, this is the finals. Let them play a little bit.
Pondexter the rebound, trying to run. Stops, pops, and gets it.
She doesn't need an offense called for her.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and Diana Taurasi talked about that. Cappy, just go. Just take it.
Because she can push you down defensively, make the defense settle on your heels, and then pull up for that nice jumper.
Tamika Dixon, the veteran, off the bench, under 5 on the shot clock. Tough shot. Are you kidding me? How much English on that one?
Now, I've been surprised that Tamika Dixon has not played more in this playoff series. And to see Lynn Dunn go to her bench now, that will keep the pace up for the Indiana Fever.
One of the original members of the WNBA. Pondexter gets it back. Cappy right back to the glass. So you're getting exactly what you asked for before the game. Cappy Pondexter in the first half here.
Well, especially with Diana Taurasi, with her struggles and as much attention as she has gathered from the defense, Cappy can create, not with on-ball screens. That avoids double team. She can do her own thing and score baskets. She's
got 11 already in the game. Looking for more here. Tamika Dixon called for the reach. And Taurasi will come back in. Soignier to the bench.
Well, and with Cappy, once you make her or allow her to take one shot, hey, you can't give her a second opportunity because she's going to stay in the play till the ball goes through the hoop.
She'll get a rest. First team All-WNBA performer along with Taurasi.
But Terry, I'm surprised the substitution that Penny Taylor is coming in for Cappy or Diana. I'd use all that scoring firepower on the floor at the same time. All 3 of those stars play together.
Interesting, the last time Taylor was on the floor with Taurasi, Catchings guarded Taylor. Matched up with Diana right now. They swing it. Smith can shoot that, and does. Rattles one home from 3-point range. It's a 4-point game.
And that's what you cannot allow Phoenix to do. Catch and shoot the 3. Make them have to create. Put the ball on the deck, not just catch and eye the target.
Taurasi tied up inside. Stays at this end. 14 on the shot clock. And they're asking for more noise, and I was just about to say they've gone silent here in Conseco. That'll bring them out of their seats. How about Dixon off the bench? 2 big plays.
Well, Tamika Dixon understands what it takes to win a world championship. She won 2 when she was with the LA Sparks.
Smith from Taurasi can't get it to go. You know, Catchings hauling in the rebound said, if I'd have realized that was 1 rebound away from a triple-double, I'd have gotten a few more. I could have done that. Call the 3-second. 33-27 so far. Lynn Dunn and the Fever with the lead, but it's a larger lead until Cappie Pondexter got it going.
Well, all Corey Gaines had to do was call her number. She can create. You don't have to call offenses. Just say, Cappie, we need you to create some offense, and she can do that. We've just seen her come out of 2 double teams and get her own baskets. She can create anytime she wants to.
So she's got 11 in the game. Taurasi's still 0 for 3 with just 1 point. Look at what Cappie did in games 1 and 2. 6 points. Not only that, she had 5 total shots in the first half in the first 2 games.
And when you have a scorer on your team like Cappie Pondexter, she's got to take more than 2.5 shots in the first half.
Right? Inside out, Taurasi passes up a 3 to get in the lane, get her first bucket. First field goal of the game for Diana Taurasi.
Phoenix goes back to the Rover defense. That means Diana Taurasi is going to be matched up with Tammy Sutton-Brown down low in the paint.
Catchings throws it away. That Rover defense, by the way, asks a lot of Diana Taurasi inside.
It does. She starts at the top of the key and then really goes to help where the defense, the offense is hurting her. So that will change from possession to possession.
Pondexter not this time. Hoffman gives it up to Catchings. Tamika, who all her life has been dealing with the challenge of being hearing impaired, does wear the hearing aids now. At one point, threw them away, was frustrated as a youngster. Taurasi answers from the free throw line, and Lynn Dunn says, I want to talk things over. 2-point game. Phoenix has not led. So Taurasi a couple of quick buckets, and the Fever, time for them to stop the run on the other side. She's dealing with that hearing disability throughout her life. I had a chance to sit down and talk to her yesterday about that and the challenge throughout her life, what it's meant to her.
You know, I think when people think about disabilities, it's like, oh, you know, it's sometimes could be used as an excuse to why you don't achieve things that you want to achieve. I think it's been the reverse for me, you know, because I remember as a young girl, you know, I got made fun of for wearing the big hearing aids, for having a speech problem, you know, wore braces, I wore glasses, all that, you know, so I was always different. And I think for me, my motivation for sport, that was my motivation. You can make fun of me in the classroom, and you can make fun of the way I talk, the way I look, the big hearing aids, you can make fun of all that. But when we got on the basketball court, there wasn't anything you could make fun of.
You want to see that entire interview, check out the IHOP halftime report in a little bit. And the more you get to know her, spend time around her, she's a remarkable human being. I mean, what she's dealt with, what she does now.
She's as great a person as she is a basketball player. A lot of fans know her because she can play basketball. She is a great person.
Right out of the timeout, they set up Tammy Sutton-Brown in the lane. Points in the paint have been big for the Fever through the series.
Well, the Fever are averaging, have scored 47 points in the paint, or averaging 47 points in the paint. The Phoenix Mercury only 37.
18-14 the edge so far in this one. Willingham, though, gets a couple. They've looked to her early. If you were going to ask the Fever, I would imagine if they have to give something up defensively, they'd say Nicole Willingham, because she hasn't been as big a factor in the series.
Well, you give up anything except for Penny Taylor, Cappie Pondexter, and Diana Taurasi.
Yeah, Taylor, quick hands, and the run out for Penny. We are tied at 35. The crowd gets restless and finally stands up here in Conseco.
Well, what Indiana is doing, they're settling for outside jumpers against this Rover defense. They've got to get in the paint, unless it's Ebony Hoffman.
Then she can take it anywhere she'd like, because everything's going in for her in the finals. Hoffman in double figures. Taurasi to the left hand, no. Offensive rebound for Willingham, and one. She'll go to the line.
And it's Nicole Willingham, because Ebony Hoffman has to come over and rotate on Diana Taurasi. There's nobody to box out Nicole Willingham and keep her off the glass.
Second foul on Ebony Hoffman. Talked about not being able to lose catchings to fouls. How about Hoffman? Reminder, if you want to be part of the action, check out WNBA Finals Live, ESPN.com and WNBA.com. Players, ESPN analysts will be commenting on tonight's game. See what they're saying. Add your voice to the conversation at WNBA Finals Live. Under 3 minutes until the break here in Indianapolis. Cross court to Catchings, who has been relatively quiet. Misses an easy one, and the jump ball.
Catchings does a nice job splitting the defense, stepping around, just cannot get that layup to fall, but she stays after it, getting into the jump ball situation.
6 points, just 1 of 5 in the game so far for Tamika Catchings. And 0 for 3 this quarter. Taurasi. Question about that. Ebony Hoffman picks up her third.
Well, and this happens because Catchings has to help with Nicole Willingham, then pick up Taurasi. Once she picks up speed, Catchings couldn't change her pace. Taurasi goes by her, which then means Ebony Hoffman had to pick her up.
Corey Gaines huddling with the rest of the team on the sideline. I don't have an accurate count, but just observing, I think 90% of their offense so far has come on Taurasi or Pondexter just creating.
Not a set offense.
Willingham's done a nice job inside. Some of that, though, off the glass. The misses of those trying to press it. 3-point lead for the Mercury. They were down by 10 early.
In game 1, Indiana gave up 25 points to second chance opportunities, not defending the two-man game, and offensive putbacks. Lynn Dunn wasn't happy with that.
After the Jessica Moore bucket, back comes Cappy Pondexter.
No offense called on that one either.
Wrong foot, off the glass, off balance, no doubt. 13 in the game for Cappy. They swing it quickly, and the walking violation on Katie Douglas. We've talked so much about pace in this series. Got to be in favor of the Mercury right now.
You got Cappy.
It is in the favor of the Phoenix Mercury. They're scoring without having to run a half-court offense. And Corey Gaines said, if you let Indiana get their defense set, they can stop you. He'd take a half-court defense over offense anytime, but when they're running in transition, that's tough to match up, tough to defend.
Taurasi gets that bounce, gets the rhythm, knocks down a three, right over Tamika Catchings.
Corey Gaines said, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So here comes Taurasi now to fill in where Cappy Pondexter left off in that first quarter.
Look at that bench up, standing, almost on the court playing defense right now. They sense it too. Who's got the answer? Is it Catchings? Smith may have gotten away with an elbow. January trying to stop Pondexter, and does. Here comes Breon, leading the break. And they don't have numbers. We talk about the Fever stopping Taurasi, or trying to, and Pondexter. Moore loses it. How about what Phoenix has done at the defensive end with Catchings and everyone except for Ebony Hoffman so far?
Well, they've taken away the paint. That's where Indiana has been successful in game 1 and 2, was getting to the paint. Right now, they're not getting any of those layups.
So this is game 3. Game 4 will be right here in Indianapolis, 7:30 Eastern, WNBA shoot-around, 7:45 tip, and then Friday, if necessary, back in Phoenix, 9 o'clock Eastern. Catchings in the open floor lets Taurasi run right by.
There's a reason Tamika Catchings is Defensive Player of the Year in the WNBA, and it's because of steals just like that.
All right, so here's a set where Indiana's back on D and Phoenix has to run something. See what they get. Taurasi creates. Willingham will go to the free throw line.
But watch Catchings' eyes. She anticipates this all the way. Can't telegraph a pass. If Tamika Catchings is in the game, she will pick you apart.
Flat out the best defender in the league.
No question.
Just ask Diana Taurasi through at least most of the series until the last 5 minutes or so. Second foul on Katie Douglas. The Willingham at the line in a 5-point lead. One of the things I asked Catchings was who she learned that defense from, and among the names she said certainly Pat Summitt.
Well, you don't play at Tennessee if you don't play defense. I know, I coached there.
Yeah, right.
That's why I didn't play there, because I don't play any defense.
At least you're honest about it.
Hey, I'll tell it.
Catchings and Pat Summitt won a national title in '98. You followed up with a title in '99 at Purdue. Bevilacqua. Tully hits a three, and she got some words of advice from a legend the other day, didn't she?
She did. She she was not shooting the ball very well in the Detroit series. She called Larry Bird. Larry Bird said, set your feet and let it fly.
Taurasi trying to do that, but picks up the foul with .9 on the clock. The second on Diana. One legend to another, huh? Larry Bird to Pat Summitt.
You know, Pat Summitt, when she got into town, she went over to watch Peyton Manning play before coming to the game tonight.
Second quarter for the Mercury here in what is a pivotal Game 3, and Phoenix with that 3-point lead. Hi again, everybody. Terry Gannon back with Carolyn Peck. You told us at the start of the game that Phoenix had to get Cappie Pondexter involved early. She has 13 points. They have a 3-point lead at the break. It's a very simple game, isn't it, basketball?
Well, you just call it up. You call Cappie Pondexter's name, and she's produced some points. And she's done it by attacking the basket. She's been able to split and get out of double teams. She's been able to score in transition, pushing you down, and then she's rebounding from the guard position. When she shoots the ball, you got to keep her off the glass. But she's so strong, she can get past you on the drive. Anytime Cappie decides to be that scoring threat, she can be.
So Pondexter with the 13 points in games 1 and 2, just 5 shots, let alone those 6 points in the first half of each game. On the other side, Katie Douglas just 1 of 8 in the game so far.
Yeah, and I talked to her at the half, and she echoed the sentiments you heard from Lynn Dunn. She said, I just need to be more aggressive. It can be difficult against the zone. Sometimes you settle, but she said she has to get in the gaps, attack, and work the ball inside and out. Now more from the west side. We'll set it to Heather.
Rebecca, after talking to the Phoenix players, they all say that the turning point for them came midway through the second quarter of this game when Diana Taurasi was very physically fouled in the paint. When that happened, their coach turned off the microphone, huddled up the players on the bench, and said, and I paraphrase, we need to play tougher. The team took that as a rallying cry and have ignited ever since, guys.
Yeah, we saw a shot of them just a moment ago, Heather, and they're friends as well. Not much talking during the games, but they played on the Olympic team together and now guarding one another here in the finals. Indiana here for the first time, Phoenix for the third time. And the turnover gives it back to the Fever. Corey Gaines was an assistant coach for Paul Westhead 2 years ago when Phoenix won the title over Detroit.
I think Phoenix has done the best job this far making the adjustment from game 2 to game 3. Phoenix had to stop Indiana from scoring in the paint. Right now, Phoenix is winning that battle 26-18.
Catchings and 1. The foul on Taurasi. That's her third.
Wow. The catch puts her head down and goes with her strength. She's able to get to the basket.
And that is the thing, isn't it? Once she gets an edge, that one step, she's so strong in the lane that you're just not going to stop her.
Right, and Cappie Pondexter has a choice there. You know, does she step in and take the charge, or she allow Catchings to split the defenders?
You know what? They switched it. They called it on McCole Willingham, and that's her third. So
that's a good break
from a Phoenix point of view, that's terrific. Tied up at 47. Taurasi looking to go to work. Bevilacqua was on her, so she takes her in the lane. A smart play by Taurasi.
Well, they switched, and that put Bevilacqua on Diana Taurasi. Catchings goes away. Taurasi could take her one-on-one.
Tully, who did knock down a 3. This one's a 2. A little bit short. Here comes Johnson. Now, Phoenix, when they do run those plays, a lot of it is to try to get a mismatch. Get Catchings off of Taurasi. This time it's Tamika Johnson who nails it too, the fifth-year player from LSU. Very quickly, the Fever to the other end, but it gives Phoenix an opportunity to run now.
Well, and they've got numbers with Sutton Brown being late, getting back for transition defense.
Maybe a little too easy for Smith along the baseline. No one there to defend. Douglas just does control it. Let's fly with the three. Katie Douglas makes it a one-point game.
She almost loses the ball out of bounds on the baseline, then step back and knock down the three-point shot.
When in doubt, shoot. Gotta like it.
That's her motto.
Yeah, right? Johnson just hit one, not this time.
And now Cappy Pondexter's guarding Tamika Catchings.
And commits the foul, trying to stop Catchings.
Like Coach Katie Douglas, and I know that she has no conscience. She's not worried about, oh, I almost turned it over. Nope, step back, eye the three, and see the three, be the three. That's Katie Douglas.
A little Caddyshack in the telecast today.
There you go.
You know, you were telling me the other day in high school, her coach would get frustrated sometimes because she wouldn't put up the big numbers and would play to the level of the competition, but she'd say, hey, I didn't need 40 tonight. I'll get it next time, right?
Yeah, he would get so frustrated with her because she could go out against a tough team, score 40 points, and then they'd be in a game with a blowout, and he'd say, hey, where's that 40 points? And she looked at him and said, I'll get 40 when I need to get 40.
Perry Meridian High School, just 9 miles from Conseco Fieldhouse here in Indianapolis. Bevilacqua trying to stop Pondexter, has help, out to Taurasi. The scramble and the foul. They're going to whistle Douglas for this? I think they are. She can't believe it. And that's the third on Katie.
Lynn Dunn can't believe it.
Wow. That's a tough foul.
Yeah, I think the official saw as if Douglas was on the takedown of Tamika Johnson.
So she has 3, and Ebony Hoffman has 3 for Indiana. Round the screen goes Cappy Pondexter. She has another one. Very different Pondexter here in game 3. Now, she had 23 points in game 1, but they were late. I mean, she was big in that overtime. Blocked. Here comes Taurasi with Catchings. Throws it right to Sutton Brown.
I tell you, after that tough foul, I would go back to Katie Douglas. She's going to go even stronger this time.
Tamika through the legs and back. No call, late whistle. And they're going to keep it here at this end. Officials kind of looking at each other, and they're going to talk it over. I don't think it hit anyone, did it?
Not from my angle.
You got Willingham.
Yeah, they're going to reverse it. It didn't hit anyone. Pondexter just threw it out of bounds.
Well, Johnson tried to bounce it off the foot of Ebony Hoffman, but it missed. That's Indiana's basketball.
Jessica Davenport on the floor now, the third-year player from Ohio State. She played a large role off the bench in that Game 2 victory. The second overall pick back in 07 was traded. Part of that trade for Becky Hammond went to New York, was waived this year early and picked up after Yolanda Griffith was injured with a fever.
She brings terrific size. She's got an incredible reach. And they needed to do that right there, rebound the basketball.
Yolanda Griffith, by the way, honored at halftime by Donna Oranger, the president of the WNBA, along with Vicki Johnson.
Well, Tully had a lane to drive to the basket. Yeah, nobody's guarding you, but what Corey Gaines is doing is playing the percentages, allowing Indiana to shoot the perimeter shot.
High-low, Willingham, nice catch over Douglas, and a good look from Pondexter. Douglas to the outside. So right now, the role's a little bit reversed. Phoenix has done very well in the paint in this game, and Indiana settling for the outside jumper.
Well, what Indiana is doing exactly what Phoenix wants them to do against that zone instead of trying to penetrate. They did a good job of that, of penetrating in game 2. They're not doing that today.
Willingham, the set shot. Like Bob Cousy out there, the foot on the line. finding nothing but net.
You may not have control over whether you hit your shot or not, but you can damn well box out, okay? Everybody has to box out. Everybody.
It's Phoenix doing the work inside right now, not Indiana, and they can't win that way, can they?
Not at all. And what Indiana is settling for are outside shots. They have taken 11 three-point shots. They took 14 in game 2. How they were able to beat the Phoenix Mercury was driving to the basket and getting to the free throw line. They're not doing that today.
You heard Lynn Dunn talking about rebounds, too. Phoenix has out-rebounded Indiana since that first quarter when they led 19-7, owning the glass. There, Douglas goes to work on the glass. Catchings had it, passed it up. Over to Katie, wing jump shot, They run it down, fresh 24 again, though. So they're coachable, if nothing else.
They are coachable.
Fortunate for Indiana here. They're going to draw the foul on Taurasi. That's 3. Third team foul on the Mercury. Fever only with 1 up there in this quarter.
You know, one thing that worked for Indiana against this zone in game 2 was on-ball screen action. Right now, Indiana's relying only on the flash through the paint.
Hoffman. Davenport with the miss. Douglas another chance. Can she buy it? Yeah, Katie Douglas from the deep corner. They got 4 opportunities that time at this end.
Hey, she earned the right to shoot that 3.
Taylor, that's the way they beat you. They just say, okay, go ahead. We'll just run right by you.
There's no time to celebrate. Once you score against Phoenix, you better get back on defense.
You take that deep sigh, you know, oh, we got to, and bam, they score. And back to the zone. They're going to pack it in. Douglas, there's the drive, right down the middle. We'll see after those 2 trips whether Corey Gaines stays in the zone the next time down. Davenport on the switch, loses Taurasi. There's the miss.
But that's the 3-point shot Lynn Dunn wants, is off the dribble. But you watch Katie Douglas. You can shoot the 3-point shot. When you get in there and get an offensive rebound, it's kicked out. She goes to the left. I think she likes that spot. Nice dive down the middle. When the ball goes into Jessica Davenport, she's turned up her offense right now, Katie Douglas has.
Well, Indiana had the ball for about 20 seconds or so, and the officials have huddled and reversed it again. So they give it back to Phoenix. I think it was the right call that time, though. In fact, they got it right the last time, so it might take it some time. The crowd doesn't like it, but they're getting it right. Davenport, the foul with the body.
Well, Davenport's letting Penny Taylor turn the corner on her. She needs to step up and not allow the ball to come to the middle of the floor.
She's over there on the sideline.
That's what Lynn Dunn was saying. Everybody knows she's over there on the sideline. I was translating because that was Tennessee talk.
You have to,
but
often.
You got to keep the ball one side of the floor.
Hey, cheer on the Mercury and Fever in style. Log on to wnbastore.com now for the largest selection of WNBA gear, including jerseys, T-shirts, and hats. Plus, receive free U.S. shipping on orders over $65. wnbastore.com. One store, every team. I spent 15 years in North Carolina. I pick it up a little bit, but not quite. It's next to Tennessee. Still in that zone is Corey Gaines. There's the switch. Catchings. Nope. Bonner cleared it. Oldie ran it down in the foul. It's going to be on Ebony Hoffman, and that's 4 on her. And 3 minutes, 22 seconds in the third. That's a critical foul. Davenport to the bench. Hoffman still on the floor. She's guarding Dewana Bonner. See if they go at her. Taylor, the fadeaway in the lane. She gives you so much on the floor when she's out there. Different team when she's out there.
Well, she was the MVP of a world championship. She's a smart player. She recognizes any mistake you make defensively and takes advantage of it.
Hoffman with those 4 fouls. The big step in the lane. her first bucket of the second half. Beyond January guarding Taurasi. And Catchings now on Pondexter.
And the adjustment for Indiana because Catchings leading, or Pondexter leading the Mercury in scoring. Now Catchings has the assignment to guard her.
Quick first step. Oldie underneath. Blocked by Catchings. Tamika with the block. 2 on the shot clock.
She starts off on Pondexter. She gets switched off, but she's able to catch up and then get the block from Nicole Oldie. She's guarding everybody on the floor. Her
second block. Taurasi's got to go. They're calling the foul on Catchings. The momentum carrying her into Taurasi, and she bailed her out. First foul on Tamika Catchings. That's a tough one there, too, isn't it?
That's tough.
2 seconds on the shot clock when they took that ball out of bounds. And Catchings sending an 89% free throw shooter to the line.
Catchings still shaking her head. She can't believe she was called for not only the foul, but Taurasi being able to shoot 3.
Missed the first, gives them a 7-point lead. Lynn Dunn, fingernail biting time. You got the home court advantage, but you lose this one, you don't. A foul, I believe, on Bonner. And it is. Duana's second. And the team's 4th. So Phoenix with the lead here in Game 3. Don't forget Wednesday is Game 4. It's right here in Indianapolis, 7:30 Eastern, WNBA shoot-around in the game at 7:45. And if necessary, Game 5 back in Phoenix on Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Such a feeling after Game 1 that Phoenix didn't play as well as it could, still won the first game, and that they're going to win Game 2 at home and take a 2-0 lead, go on the road. A message sent by Indiana in that game, too. They really dictated tempo, style, a more physical team, but they've been outplayed so far today.
Well, and it's because Phoenix has done exactly what Penny Taylor's trying to do right there. Get the ball into the paint, then that opens up things for them on the perimeter, and they're a very good three-point shooting team.
The big 3 on the floor right now, but Taylor with the miss. So games going with Pondexter, Taurasi, and Penny Taylor. Douglas, the offensive foul on Katie Douglas. That's 4 on Douglas.
What the officials saw was that Penny Taylor got to the position first. Called the offensive foul on Katie Douglas.
You agree?
I disagree.
I disagree with you. I think she did.
You thought she was there?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the toughest call, obviously. But you can be moving as long as you establish your position.
Right.
In any case, she's got 4. Johnson, Sutton Brown says, no, not in here. January. Time to get beyond January trying to do that. They're down 2. Taurasi right back with the reverse layup. On the run. Tough bucket by Diana Taurasi.
There's a reason she is MVP.
16 in the game. January. The foul. Diana knocked her right to the floor.
There's lots of much attention that Catchings in the middle. Look, 3 players, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the paint. She recognizes to kick out. Douglas then sees that January will be open with 1 more pass, and she knocks down the 3.
A foul called on Penny Taylor, her second. January with the first. First round draft pick, number 6 overall. January, the rookie from Arizona State. Really's come on in the second half of the season and now in the playoffs.
Coach Lynn Dunn said after the All-Star break, you're no longer a rookie. And she's really played into this role. She's the point guard of the future. That's why they brought her to the Indiana Fever.
Double figures in the playoffs. There's guess who with another steal. Tamika Catchings. Taylor knocks it out with 15 on the shot clock. Yeah, nobody does this better than Catchings.
Well, that's why she's the WNBA Defensive Player of the Year. It's plays like that. She anticipates them very well.
Got 3 in the game. January not bashful at all. She's got another one. Second 3 in a row from Breon January. 1 point lead for the Fever. Oldie. Good ball movement. Swatted away, though, by Moore. .13 on the shot clock, 3-second difference. Taurasi inside. Bonner knife through, Shot clock off. January on the run. Stops over Taurasi. She's got another one. That's it. We head to the 4th. Breon January. Couple of 3-pointers and another jumper. Doing it all by herself in the last couple of minutes.
Welcome back to Game 3 of the WNBA Finals. I'm joined now by Fever head coach Lynn Dunn. Coach, Breon January, 8 points in that last run. How important is she in this 4th quarter?
Huge. We really picked the tempo up, and they're attacking us in transition, and we need to attack them more. And so when we put Bree in, she really set the tone with transition offense for us.
Cappie Pondexter, 13 first-half points, only 2 in that 3rd quarter. What did you do differently?
We talked about her at halftime. I hope we can still keep getting the ball out of her hands. That's going to be key for us.
All right, Coach, thank you. Terry?
All right, Rebecca, second half, Cappie Pondexter not nearly as effective as she was in that first half, but also 10 of 20 so far for Indiana behind the line, and Cappie on the bench right now. Heather, what do you know? Anything else on Cappie Pondexter here?
Well, Terry, Cappie is certainly involved emotionally. During that last time out, Cappie Pondexter led the charge, yelling, "This is ours. We have 10 minutes. We are not going to lose this. We have come way too far." Then Diana Taurasi took over and knocked the clipboard out of Corey Gaines' hand. She was so emotional in the huddle, guys.
We head to the 4th. Pondexter on the bench. Taylor on in place of her. Indiana with the basketball. I mentioned it, 10 3-pointers for the Fever so far in this game. Sutton Brown inside and cleared by Smith. On the other side, Phoenix, the 3-point shooting team, just 3 of 14 right now, Carolyn.
Well, what Indiana's doing is forcing the Phoenix Mercury not to be able to have the catch-and-shoot 3-pointer.
Taylor creates. Smith, there's a catch-and-shoot 3-pointer in and out. And Catchings the rebound.
And Phoenix talked about in Game 2, they were missing open shots. That's a shot Tampa Smith normally knocks down.
7 rebounds for Tamika Catchings so far. Douglas on the floor, so the foul is going to go against Tamika Johnson. That's her first. And Corey Gaines sends Pondexter back onto the floor.
Well, he's got his full arsenal on the floor now with Penny Taylor, Cappie Pondexter, and Diana Taurasi.
Douglas with the shot clock down to 6, letting it fly. Gets the roll. You get those at home here in Indiana, don't you?
She does.
5-point lead for the Fever. So what's the answer now for Phoenix?
I think you got to continue to look to attack the basket, make the defense sink in, and then kick out, find your 3-point shooters.
Smith got the offensive rebound. Loose ball foul against the Fever.
We got a box out!
Jessica Moore picks up her first. Taurasi just 5 of 13 in the game. Remember, she has shot just 31% in the finals. They call the blocking foul along the baseline on Moore. And you're going to hear it from this crowd and Lynn Dunn.
I got to see this again.
Well. So what, are we going to disagree on this one too?
Well, I tell you, because it's very similar to the one,
I know.
On the other end.
It's the nature of that call, though.
The double team on Cappy Pondexter.
Splits it anyway. Willingham, loose ball. Phoenix basketball. Fresh 24.
What Indiana's doing right now is making Cappy Pondexter make decisions. If she's double teamed, she's now got to decide whether can she keep going for the score or does she need to pass out.
Pondexter gets loose. The easy lay-in from Penny Taylor. Somebody missed an assignment there. It's a 3-point game. January with 10 straight points in that run. Catchings, 12 in the game for her. Shot clock under 10. Brian, no. Fever basketball. Oh, wide open. Just beat January right to the basketball.
That's just experience.
Catchings expected more to get there. She couldn't, and the turnover gives it back to the Mercury.
I have no idea.
Lynn Dunn, who lives basically right across the street here in Indianapolis from Conseco Fieldhouse.
Oh, good rotation over by Tamika Catchings.
Good help. Here comes Catchings on the run. They'll bring it back. If they don't get the initial rush, well, Catchings goes anyway, and I'm not sure Lynn Dunn would want her to there. They'll call the jump ball, Smith and Catchings. If they don't get that initial rush, Carolyn, they would like Phoenix to have to play defense for much of the shot clock.
Well, and they should. If they move the basketball, execute their offense using their screens, and especially on-ball screen options, that'll create opportunities to get to the paint.
Decisively in favor of the Mercury, those points in the paint. Three-point shooting going to the Fever in this one so far, though. There's another one. Wow. How did that stay out?
She's scoring this one.
Pondexter all the way in. We heard Heather describe the last huddle. Cappy Pondexter basically taking the clipboard right out of Corey Gaines' hand. Now on the floor. She's got 19 and trying to get her team going.
Now Indiana's got to move, reverse the ball. Taking too long to get the ball swung.
Taylor the foul, trying to stop Hoffman.
Well, now that Cappy Pondexter realizes that offense doesn't have to be called for her, she can look to score on just about every trip down the floor.
Pondexter, just a fourth-year player out of Rutgers. Seems like she's been in the league longer. She's made such an impact right away.
She was huge for the Phoenix Mercury when they won the championship in 2007.
3 on the shot clock. Catchings, fouled by Johnson. That's all she could really do with it. Johnson's second foul. And then the third team foul.
You look at Tamika Catchings and her ability to create behind the back, splits the defender, going strong. There's not too much you can do with that.
6'1", 167 in her 8th year from Tennessee. Won a national title with Pat Summitt, who's in attendance today back in 1998. You know she'd like to have better numbers from the floor. And Pat Summitt watching her former star here. But you got to look at that last move, at what Catchings can give you. One of the strongest players in the league, and yet changes on a dime. Quick, can get to the hoop. Knocked out of bounds, it'll be Fever basketball. And Pat just shaking her head saying, she missed another free throw? Yeah. Come on.
But Dana Taurasi complimented Tamika Catchings, said if you're going to build the ideal basketball player, you would build the strength, the talent, and the passion that Tamika Catchings has.
Pretty good. Pretty good package there. They whistle Penny Taylor for the foul, and that will be the 4th on Taylor. And the team's 4th, but it was on the inbounds. And they're going to send Hoffman to the line. She held her before the ball was inbounded. First one good for Hoffman. Four-point lead. Fever with the edge at the free throw line. And Ebony Hoffman holding that right arm. And they're going to call the foul on her. So that's her 5th foul, and she's holding that shoulder right now.
She and Penny Taylor got tangled up.
She's going to go to the end of the bench and now head to the locker room, and they'll check her out. So she goes out at the 6:17 mark, and that could be critical for the Fever. Pondexter to Smith, Taurasi in the lane. Tangela all the way off the glass and in, just beating the shot clock.
She stole that pass. Diana Taurasi was passing out to the corner. Tangela Smith intercepted it and was able to hit the layup.
Tangela just 2 of 10 in the game, 5 points now, but that was a big bucket. All right, Hoffman being out, what does that change now for the Fever?
Well, it takes away a perimeter score, especially from the post position. She's been the one that's been hot from the 3.
Air ball from Douglas. It'll be Phoenix basketball. 5:36 left, 4th quarter, game 3, tied up at a game apiece. It's been a good one. Back here in the 4th, Conseco Fieldhouse, sellout crowd, 2-point lead for the Indiana Fever. Series tied up at a game apiece. Check out our HP photos of the WNBA Finals.
Well, check out this block by Tamika Catchings, and it's all ball. Looks like she could almost pin it to the glass. And is there a motion in this game? Absolutely.
Go to WNBA.com to vote for the HP Photo of the Year. Leading scorers, Pondexter with 19, Taurasi with 16, but hasn't shot well again from the floor. Ebony Hoffman, remember, just went to the locker room, grabbing her right shoulder. So we'll find out what's going on with her, but they are without her right now, and Rebecca might know more.
Terry, I'm down by the Fever training room, and Ebony Hoffman's being looked at by the doctors. They're doing tests for strength and range of motion. She was describing to them how she got hit on the front of it and looked like she's having a little bit of difficulty raising that right shoulder, her shooting shoulder, above her head. I'll try to get you more before the game's out.
All right, thanks, Rebecca. So a 2-point lead for the Fever as Pat Summitt watches Tamika Catchings and Indiana try to close out Game 3 and take a 2-game-to-1 edge in the series. Remember, Game 5, if necessary, is back in Phoenix Friday after the Game 4 Wednesday here. Taurasi with another miss. Cuts right to the hole, though, and gets it back from Tangela Smith.
Second chance opportunities.
And knocked by Katie Douglas. Are they going to whistle Douglas for the foul? I believe they are. Technical foul on Diana Taurasi. Double technical on Taurasi and Katie Douglas. Diana and Katie going, what did you do? What did I do? I don't know.
Yeah, they're both looking at each other like, what? They just ran into each other. She didn't mean to. She didn't see her. Diana Taurasi's getting up to come and bounce. Katie doesn't see her coming. I don't think that...
Yeah, you know, I think if you were barely watching, it looked worse than it really was. And they're both saying that was totally inadvertent. In any case, Catchings to the free throw line. A 1-point lead momentarily.
But Taurasi is just getting up. She has no idea that Katie Douglas is there. Katie doesn't see her coming. There was nothing intentional on the part of either player.
Never know. Tough to get into the mind of Diana Taurasi on that, but in any case, it's a 1-point lead for the Fever.
Everywhere Catchings goes to get to the paint, she's attracting the attention of two defenders.
Foul on the baseline. January has been a huge factor in this game.
Well, and she is staying with, right now, Lynn Dunn's game plan. Wired at the half. Lynn Dunn said, now, I don't mind you taking the three, but we want to look to attack. And Breon January's made good decisions.
Fourth foul on Nicole Willingham. Back to that double technical just for a moment. Even if you believe that Diana Taurasi intentionally got up looking to headbutt Katie Douglas, how do you call the technical on Katie Douglas standing there as Hoffman comes back with that right shoulder bandage?
Now, Catching shot a free throw, but Phoenix didn't shoot one. Was it a double technical?
So they did, yeah, they never shot. You're right, it's a single take. June Corto came over and said double technical foul. So only Taurasi with the T because they only shot at that end. Here is Taurasi to Willingham. Good move inside for the Cole, who started the game that way.
15 points. She's been silent game one, game two, but she's making some noise tonight.
Right shoulder sprain, we're told. Ebony Hoffman set to check in, though, at the scorer's table. Douglas, that's a deuce. Katie with the two, and it's a three-point lead. Pondexter blocked, got it back, stayed with it. Cappy looking for a foul call. There wasn't.
It's the second chance opportunities for the Phoenix Mercury. Indiana is not able to keep them off the glass.
Moore inside out, tipped away, 7 on the shot clock. Here comes Hoffman.
Katie Douglas came to Indianapolis. She wants a world championship. Came close with Connecticut. She's on radar right now, knocking down the three.
$17 so far here in this one. Taylor went for the steal. There's the double, and Douglas finds Sutton Brown, who misses the easy lay-in.
You can't miss a chippy like that, not after a great pass.
Cross court. Pondexter off balance. That's what she does best.
I don't know what she was waiting for in game one and game two, but she definitely has brought it in game three.
Cappy's got 23. Sutton Brown doesn't miss this one. The lead back to Indiana. Under 3 to go. Willingham from Cappy Pondexter doing it with the ball in her hands and to her teammates. Back and forth we go. How about this? Game one was a classic in overtime. 120-116. This is shaping up. Tammy Sutton Brown answers. Standing room only crowd. Conseco Fieldhouse. Fourth quarter, game three, tied up a game apiece. And the Fever trying to shut down Cappy Pondexter, who's had a huge day. Willingham. Finally, they come out with it. And they're going to give the timeout to Phoenix. Lynn Dunn says, hey, it was a loose ball. They didn't have possession. "20-second timeout to the Mercury. And now they call it a full. Wow. Chaos. Conseco. Done livid as we went to that break. Indiana with a 1-point lead, but this one's gotten wild here with this capacity crowd in Conseco. That last time out called seemingly without possession of the basketball for Phoenix.
Well, Lynn Dunn has good reason to be disappointed. Nobody has possession. And when the ball comes out, she's calling timeout. Nobody has the ball.
It's up in the air at that point, as a matter of fact, and she signaled earlier double technical, and they only had the one technical on Diana Taurasi. So here we go, 1-point lead, though. We head down the last couple of minutes. What are your thoughts on each team and what they need to do here?
Well, I think both teams now are battling to win the war in the paint. Phoenix has been successful of attacking the basket, and when the defense sinks in, they can kick out for the three. That's where Indiana has tried to do the same thing, but they're using their post. Tammy Sutton-Brown, and now they have Ebony Hoffman back.
Penny Taylor out of that timeout finds a seam off the glass and in. The lead back to Phoenix.
This game, I believe, is going to come down to attacking the basket and who will make their free throws down the stretch.
Catchings, path closed, out to Douglas. Back to Tamika as they send it inside. Sutton-Brown just lost it. Pondexter a little bit out of control.
Pondexter's looking for the foul. It's getting physical.
6 ties, 7 lead changes. Remember the early lead by Indiana. Back in the first quarter, double digits. No chance for that pass to get into Sutton-Brown.
Well, Indiana's looking for the home run ball. One pass and in. They've got to be patient.
Cappy splits the double. Out to Taurasi, spotting up. That's the shot she wants. And there is no better shot than that one for her.
That is Phoenix-style basketball there. Cappy did a great job penetrating in, and then you find superstar Diana Taurasi. Shot just didn't fall.
1 of 8 out there.
1 minute left.
Under a minute. Hoffman has been terrific in this series. Carrying the Fever. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be Phoenix basketball.
Clock's running.
Yeah, they're still running that at least 3 or 4 seconds taken off the clock, which should go back on.
Well, Ebony Hoffman, now she's got an injured right shoulder. Even that doesn't stop her from being able to knock down the three. Tammy Sutton-Brown rotates in. Ebony Hoffman spots up. Hey, you're spotting up your post player to knock down the three.
But the defender, that was Penny Taylor, has to know that's Hoffman out there who can shoot the three.
You're exactly right.
Nearly perfect 6 of 7 and 18 points in the game as the officials now try to figure out how much time should be on the clock. And they're also trying to figure out whether that should be a 2 or a 3. Larry Bird up there watching. So at least for the moment, the Fever with a 2-point lead, but we'll see. They put 57 seconds on the game clock. And Corey Gaines, who doesn't like, you think about down the stretch, he does not like to call timeouts. Likes his team just to go out there and work it out.
Well, he believes the tempo, when you call a timeout, you give a defense time to, another team, your opponent, time to get their defense set. And the style of the Phoenix Mercury is coming down in transition before the defense has an opportunity and taking the first good shot. He doesn't want to slow that down with a timeout.
So June Courteau still looking at whether or not it is a 2 or a 3 from Hoffman. Pondexter with 23 in the game. Taurasi with 18, but just 1 of 8 beyond the arc. And the Fever doing a lot of work out there themselves. 10 of 21 from three-point land. So a full couple of 20s for the Mercury and 1 full couple of 20s also, and a foul to give for the Fever. They're going to call it a 2. So Hoffman's foot on the line. That's a 2-point field goal from Ebony Hoffman. And the lead is 1. Here we go. Pondexter controls. Cappy on the move. The scoop. Catchings calls timeout. So they'll talk things over. Cappy Pondexter, they come right out of the timeout, so you know that Corey Gaines told them what he wanted, and that's what he got from Cappy Pondexter.
Well, he wanted her to attack the basket, but I think she could have taken a more under-control shot.
Pretty good scene at Conseco Fieldhouse. We came in with the Fever a couple of days ago, and they were greeted by all those people at the airport. Lynn Dunn trying to win one for him now.
Listen to me. Katie's over here. Catch is over here. Bree, you've got the horn set. Tammy's here. Ebony's here. We're going off of Tammy. Tammy's rolling to the rim. Ebony's popping. We're looking here. We're looking rim. We're looking kick. We're looking back up here. High-low. Dribble handoff for Catch. Catch comes back in here. She's looking to go to the rim. We're kicking Katie.
We still have one foul to get, and we have 2 timeouts. If it's transition, take a foul.
Okay, guys. Hey, if Cappy's in a mid-screen and roll, it's a show and over, okay? But over there on the side where I read, okay, we got 2 timeouts, 1 foul together. Let's go. On 3 together. 1, 2, 3 together.
And what Lynn Dunn is talking about is she wants to run again that screen and roll action where Tammy Sutton-Brown rolls to the lane. She talked about popping out Ebony Hoffman, but she doesn't necessarily want to take the 3. She wants to continue the offense and then have an opportunity for a dribble handoff for a drive for Tamika Catchings or Katie Douglas.
So Cappy Pondexter, Penny Taylor, Diana Taurasi, Tangela Smith, Nicole Willingham on the floor for Phoenix. Tamika Catchings set to inbound it. Rion January, Ebony Hoffman, Douglas, and Sutton Brown. 47.7 left. January controls. Along the baseline, Sutton Brown can't get this one. Second chance. January kicking it back out. They'll have a fresh 24.
Smart play by the rookie. Kick out. You have a shot clock reset. Time is on your side. Lynn Dunn's telling her to wait. Slow down.
Corey Gaines yelling no fouls off the leg of January. It's Phoenix basketball. Shot clock off. 22.1 left. And the Mercury looking to win it here. Down by 1. Indiana with a foul to give. Pondexter, as they run the clock down, Cappy off the heel, Catchings high into the air, jump ball. Four seconds left. Tamika trying to get the timeout. You remember Phoenix got a timeout in a similar situation a couple of possessions ago. Willingham and Catchings. Comes down to this. Pondexter and the timeout quickly for Corey Gaines. 3.4 left. What a series of events.
Well, that was a smart play to tip out, get the timeout. Now, he's going to take the ball sideline out of bounds. He's going to try to bring his point guard out. If you're going to deny the basketball, he'll flash his post. He'll flash his post right to the free throw line area, and he's only down 1. So he can look to attack, get to the basket, or get to the free throw line.
Number of different options for Corey Gaines right now because you do have Penny Taylor, you've got Taurasi, you've got Cappy Pondexter. In the last few possessions when he's needed a bucket, it's been Pondexter.
Well, I think he's going to switch things up. She's going to be a decoy this time. I would look for him to go to Taurasi or Taylor. Use those 2 because he's been going to Pondexter the last 2 possessions.
Microphone off for Corey Gaines, so we can't listen into his huddle right now.
Has this series not been great games? Overtime in game 1, the close game of game 2, and now we're in this situation today.
Now, you're down to 3.4. Indiana has a foul to give.
Yeah, you foul. But you've got to make sure that you do it not while the ball's out of bounds and before they get into a shooting motion.
There's a situation, neither team with a full, but a couple of 20s left as Lynn Dunn breaks the huddle at her end. On their feet here in Indianapolis. You win here, you take a 2-game-to-1 edge in the series.
Indiana right now, what they have to do is they've got to deny the inbound and go to foul as soon as the ball comes in. Cannot be a catch and shoot.
Pondexter to take it out. Taylor trying to get it. Smith lets it go. No call on that. Game over. Indiana wins game 3.
No call. There was I thought contact there. That's going to build up for some drama in game 4.
Larry Bird loves it. 18,000 plus. They love it here. In Conseco Fieldhouse, 86-85 the final. Indiana with the win over Phoenix.
Well, as soon as the ball comes in, it was supposed to come to Penny Taylor. Tangela Smith. Tamika Catchings cleans up the rebound. Lynn Dunn is loving it in Indianapolis.
Well, you go to foul, but you don't want to foul on the shot, and it was awfully close. So Katie Douglas, the effort here in her hometown, and Pondexter, terrific game for Cappy, but the win goes to the Fever. Rebecca?
Tamika, 3.4 seconds, a lot of time when you're going against Phoenix. What were the keys to that last defensive stop?
Because the biggest thing is obviously keep them from catching the ball, but they put Mazzani in, they put another shooter in, just trying to deny everybody. I think our team, we did a great job. We weren't going to switch until the ball got in, so we did a good job. She missed that shot. Ebony was right there, thank God, and we got the rebound.
You and Katie, obviously the superstars on this team, but you've had a lot of contributions. How big were Ebony Hoffman and Breon January tonight?
Oh my gosh, they were unbelievable tonight, and I know through a period of time we got a little stagnant on offense, but Bree down the stretch, especially in the third quarter, stepped up and hit some big shots. Ebony, obviously that 3 that they turned into a 2, that was a huge shot for us, and we were able to keep that lead.
Tamika, thank you.